Lexie said on the radio about Caitlin and Sophie making a decision on this last play. Guys, what? This is the damnedest shiznit I have ever seen.
The reaction isn't staged at all. A seasoned WNBA commentator is left speechless after a player drops a stunning confession during a live radio interview moments after the Indiana Fever escaped with a dramatic victory thanks to Caitlin Clark's game-winning shot. Then, only minutes afterward, another teammate stepped on air and disclosed that the decisive play was never actually designed for Clark in the first place. This is what truly happened.
Be pissed if this last shot is not taken by Caitlin. It was set up for Kelsey Mitchell. So obviously, when she was coming around the edge on that little curl, and Sophie said, nah, I'm going full outlaw.
Monday night brought high drama in Washington during a Commissioner's Cup showdown. The Fever squandered a 17-point advantage and saw control slip away. Down 76-75 with just 4.3 seconds remaining after Clark failed to convert 2 free throws, Indiana used its final timeout. Sophie Cunningham triggered the inbound. Washington's coach took a risky chance to jump the passing lane but came up empty. The mistake left Clark wide open several steps beyond the arc near midcourt. With 1.2 seconds on the clock, she gathered herself and fired from 31 feet. The shot dropped cleanly through the basket. It marked the first game-winning basket of her professional career. The score ended 78-76. But that's where the story takes an unexpected turn.
Imagine quote from Lexie Hull. We were trying to draw a foul there. What? Say what? We were trying.
The controversy erupted once the final buzzer had already sounded. Lexie Hull stepped in front of a microphone and revealed something nobody expected to hear. She openly admitted that the original objective on the closing possession was to bait a foul, not attack for the winning basket, not create space for Clark to fire, but simply force the officials to make a call. Think about that for a moment. In the closing seconds of a one-possession battle, the strategy wasn't built around placing the ball in the hands of the league's most dangerous long-range threat. Instead, the focus was on drawing contact and hoping for free throws. That single revelation instantly changed the conversation. Within moments, fans everywhere were questioning the decision, debating the logic, and flooding social media with reactions. One unexpected statement had suddenly turned a thrilling finish into an even bigger story.
She made a read. Sophie was able to deliver a perfect pass. She knocked it down when it mattered. I can't say that's exactly what we drew up, but it worked. So we'll take it any day of the week. Oh, they went full on outlaw.
Then the story became even more surprising. Hull didn't stop with that revelation. She went on to clarify that the chaotic finish was never the outcome the coaches had drawn up in the huddle. Clark recognized a gap nobody expected. Cunningham fired a perfect inbound pass. The designed action completely unraveled, and a split-second decision changed everything. Not long afterward, Cunningham appeared to confirm the idea herself on Instagram, sharing a meme that joked, ignored the plan, still got the win. Clark jumped into the comments with a simple response, "Love you, sophomore." Suddenly, what looked like a routine post-game celebration carried a much deeper message. Two of the franchise's most recognizable players were publicly embracing the fact that the game-winning moment emerged only after the original strategy broke down. That reaction spoke volumes. It suggested they trusted their instincts when the pressure peaked, and those instincts delivered the result nobody saw coming.
You will never in a million mother effing years convince me in the pit of Hades. You will never convince me that Austin Kelly intended, that he drew this up and wanted a foul out of it.
That raises an even bigger question. Who came up with this strategy in the first place? Reports suggest the designed action positioned Clark near the baseline as a distraction, creating movement for Hull while the intended scoring chance was set up for Kelsey Mitchell. In other words, Caitlin Clark, widely viewed as the most dangerous long-range weapon in the game, wasn't the first choice or even the second. She was reportedly the third red. What makes that revelation even harder for many fans to understand is what had already happened earlier in the contest. Clark had connected on a tough sidestep triple, drilled a step-back three, and delivered a massive 4-point sequence when the stakes were highest. The criticism surrounding her role didn't suddenly appear that night either. Before tip-off, former NBA champion Michael Thompson argued that he had rarely seen elite talent utilized so strangely, comparing the situation to asking Serena Williams to avoid her greatest strength. That's the context behind the uproar, an offense often accused of steering opportunities away from its biggest star, ending with a final possession seemingly built around drawing contact rather than attacking for the winning shot.
Get a body language police situation.
How much confidence?
All right, let me blow this up. Look at Kelsey's face. Is she happy right now? Question mark. Is she happy?
How much confidence did you have in her hitting that one?
Is she happy? Inquiring minds want to know. Are you happy for the result?
And the tension appears to extend far beyond a clipboard diagram. Take a close look at the sideline after the shot falls. There is no wild celebration, no massive crowd of players rushing the floor, no emotional explosion you would normally expect after a game-winning moment. The interactions involving Clark, coach Stephanie White, and members of the staff seem unusually distant for such a dramatic finish. Observers have also highlighted locker room footage that appears to show Clark reacting with visible frustration while White addresses the team. Now contrast that with Aliyah Boston, whose response was completely different. She casually remarked, "Are we really shocked? Caitlin Clark is Caitlin Clark. That's what she does." One response feels supportive and relaxed, while the other comes across as noticeably strained. The timing only adds more intrigue. It follows a widely discussed heated timeout exchange and reports of a lengthy players-only meeting focused on responsibilities and defensive issues. Indiana sits at 6-5, below where many expected them to be, while speculation about potential roster moves continues to gain attention. Normally, a dramatic last-second winner eases pressure and quiets criticism. Instead, this moment intensified the debate. The revelation that the original objective may have been to seek contact rather than attack the basket has sparked fierce reactions. One analyst openly questioned the logic, arguing he could not imagine an assistant approving such an approach and directing criticism toward the head coach instead. Whether that assessment is fair remains debatable, but the central issue refuses to disappear. In a one-point game with Caitlin Clark on the floor, can a strategy built around drawing a whistle truly be justified? Many traditional basketball minds would strongly disagree. Yet supporters of White point to one undeniable fact: Indiana still left with the victory. And that is where the full story becomes even more complicated.
Well, Star Wars. I have a vote of no confidence. We got a vote of no confidence here. Get them out. Chancellor Valorum.
This is where the entire debate truly begins. One final shot created two completely different narratives. Those defending Stephanie White see a simple outcome. Indiana trailed by a single point, the possession unfolded unexpectedly, Clark recognized an opening, and one of basketball's deadliest shooters buried a 31-foot dagger. The scoreboard favored the Fever, and when elite players improvise, extraordinary things happen. White later downplayed the controversy, suggesting that dramatic moments like this are simply part of who Clark is and that public discussion will always follow her success. Critics, however, view the ending through a very different lens. They argue the result concealed a much larger issue instead of solving it. To them, a coaching staff willing to design a final possession around drawing contact while positioning Clark as a decoy reveals a troubling philosophy. The shot went in, but they believe the process still failed. In their eyes, the team was rescued by brilliance rather than execution. For balance, the surrounding circumstances matter. Clark battled foul trouble throughout the night, collecting 2 early fouls and spending significant time on the bench. The game itself featured constant whistles and physical play, making a late attempt to force contact far more understandable than it may initially sound. The concern many fans have is not the idea of earning free throws. It is the possibility that the closing sequence did not prioritize the player most capable of deciding the game. What intensified the discussion was everything that happened afterward. Clark and Cunningham appeared to treat the situation with humor, which only fueled speculation. Their chemistry has long been obvious, with Clark previously comparing their connection to a quarterback trusting a favorite target. That is why Clark's playful response to Cunningham's post attracted so much attention. Publicly, she remained composed, credited preparation, and praised the inbound.